Within the next video, we are going to talk about the effective use of residual glass powder as a substitute for cement in the manufacture of pastel, and the introduction mainly talk about the high demand for natural resources and the growing restriction in India to boil. For this, the United States Environmental Protection Agency has suggested several qualitative courses of action for the generation, treatment, transport, maintenance, handling, disposal, and recycling of hazardous waste. Finally, in the introduction, the experimental configuration that is intended to be found in this study is presented. In order to carry out this test, ordinary Portland cement was used and samples of fine glass powder that were available in the state of Madhya Pradesh in India were used. Here in the characterization of the materials, we seek to investigate the use of the chemical components of the glass powder in an adequate way. For this state, sand was used that meet all the requirements specified in the ES 605 standard. Water is also used during grade B for mixing 75 and 63 microns respectively. Here we have the configuration for the production and workability of the mortar, where you have a temperature of the molding room and the dry materials, and the water will be kept between 2 and 27 degrees Celsius. Here we have the assembly of the mortar samples, where it is intended for cubes to see the compressive strength. This is done according to the ES standard 4031, and it is done determining the transverse resistance of the rectangular bars linked with. The samples are stored in a control cabinet in 98% relative humidity and a temperature of 2 and 23 degrees Celsius. Here he tells you about the configuration of the Polanyi activity index and how the SAI value is calculated according to the standard. I is the main compressive strength and B is the main concentration in megapascals. Here for the absorption configuration, it is intended to immerse the samples in clean water at the surrounding temperature for 18 hours, and after this, remember the sample for the water and clean the with a cloth in order to avoid the cider date. At this point, we will talk about the preparation for driver strings, where the greatest factor that will affect will be the loss of humidity. This study is made from the ES 4031 and the ES 1720 standard. These tables show the particle diameter relative of the components used to the study. Here we have the analysis of the fresh properties of the mortar, so it can be seen that by adding the glass powder in increasing abundant qualities, the cement changes its colors to a light gray since the glass powder is white. Well, in the table below, you can see the progressive strength of the GP63 mix is better than the GP75 mix compared to the control mix. This mix expresses a compressive strength well below but except the minimum mortal resistance. This figure shows the incorporation of GP, where the TF decreases as the substitution reaches the maximum value, that is 20%. In the following figure, you can see the effect of glass dust and the resistance activity index at different angles with standard error. These figures show the result of the dry clean screen cakes for the controls and the modified mortar after 28 days. In this first conclusion, he told us about the incorporation of the glass power in traditional OPC cement as a substitute. It is useful to improve the properties of the final product. On the other hand, of the important conclusion is the fineness that this glass must have when it is mixed with cement size. The particles must be very thin so that they can join and solidify in a consistent and uniform